The city of Halcyra floated above the storms like a dream that refused to end. Silver towers caught the morning light, their reflections rippling across the vast sky as engines hummed beneath the clouds. I used to think it was beautiful, this city of glass and steam, powered by the brilliance of mages who bound their hearts to metal. Now I could only hear its heartbeat faltering. Inside the grand laboratory, the air tasted of copper and sorrow. The Aether Core stood before me, a sphere of trembling light suspended in chains of silver. Its pulse had weakened, threads of blue flickering like a dying star. I had spent 3 nights trying to stabilize it, tracing every fault line, every surge, every breath. Yet something in its rhythm called to me, something I could not name. I pressed my palm to the glass. The hum deepened. The glow spread through my fingers and whispered my name. Zara. It should have been impossible. That voice was gone. That voice had vanished years ago in the chaos of rebellion, leaving only silence where laughter used to live. But I heard it again. Drake. The name burned through me like light breaking through shadow. My breath caught as the circuits beneath the core rearranged themselves. In their pattern hidden beneath layers of encryption, I saw his signature. An intricate weave only he could craft. The same shape I had once traced on his skin while we spoke of futures we would never live to see. My knees weakened. The laboratory around me dissolved into static. I saw flashes of memory. The night sky over the old citadel, his hand wrapped around mine, his voice promising that love was the purest form of magic. And then the explosion, the betrayal, the light swallowing him whole. I whispered to the machine, "How are you still here?" The core shuddered in response. A pulse of energy rippled outward, knocking me back. Sparks rained from the ceiling as alarms wailed. I struggled to my feet, heart hammering, eyes fixed on the trembling sphere. If Drake's magic was within the core, then he had never truly died. Somewhere beneath this shining city, the truth waited for me. The engineers rushed in, shouting my name, but their voices sounded distant. My mind was already descending through the layers of Halcyra, past the glowing platforms and the markets of glass, into the depths where light could not reach. There was a place there that few remembered, the Underspire. The rebels had made it their sanctuary once. That was where he had vanished. I looked once more at the core before leaving. Its light pulsed again, softer this time, like a heartbeat echoing across time. "Wait for me," I whispered. "I will find you." And as I turned away, the hum followed me, steady and low, as if the machine itself remembered his name. The deeper I went beneath Halcyra, the colder the air became. The city's music, the rhythmic hum of engines, the gentle whir of gears, faded until only silence remained. The light above turned from gold to gray to nothing at all. Only the glow of my ether lantern guided me through the forgotten tunnels, casting trembling circles on walls etched with runes older than memory. They had told us the Underspire was dead, that the rebellion had been erased, that no mage survived the purge. But the air told a different story. There was a scent of ozone and ash, and beneath it, something human, a trace of emotion too strong to fade. I remembered how Drake used to say that ether was alive, that it carried fragments of feeling, fragments of people. He believed that love could never die because it left an imprint on the world. I used to laugh at him for that. Now I was chasing his ghost. My footsteps echoed against metal grates as I reached the last elevator shaft. The cables still hummed faintly. Someone had been here recently. I took a deep breath and stepped in, pulling the lever. The platform groaned as it descended, carrying me into the dark heart of the city's forgotten veins. When the cage stopped, I found myself in a cavern lit by fractured crystal veins. Shadows shifted across the walls, and among them figures moved, cloaked, silent, watching. Rebels. Survivors. I felt their stares pierce the insignia on my coat, the mark of the Empire. Their distress was sharp enough to taste. Before I could speak, a familiar voice cut through the silence. "Zara." The word struck harder than a spell. I turned toward the sound, and there he was. Drake. He stepped out of the shadows, his coat torn, his face hardened by years of battle and exile. His eyes, those storm-gray eyes I once called home, still carried the same fire. But when he looked at me, I saw something else too. Pain. Distance. 1,000 unspoken words pressed between us. For a heartbeat, neither of us moved. Then he said quietly, "You shouldn't have come here." I almost laughed. I could say the same. You shouldn't be here either. You were supposed to be dead. His mouth curved just slightly. That's what they wanted you to believe. The light from the crystals caught on the scars across his jaw, silver lines against bronze skin. He looked older but still impossibly familiar. My chest tightened. I found your spell work in the core, I said. It's your pattern, Drake. You're inside it. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he turned and walked toward the center of the chamber, where a machine of glass and stone pulsed faintly. Its structure was primitive compared to the core above, but it thrummed with a living rhythm. I followed the sound, drawing me closer. It's true, he said finally. The Empire used what I created. They built the core from my design, from our design. But they changed it. They turned it into something that feeds on us. I froze. Feeds on us. He looked back at me. The core doesn't run on mechanical energy. It runs on emotion. On love. On the bonds mages once shared. They harvest that connection, bind lovers, drain their hearts dry, and call it progress. The words fell like shards of ice. I thought of the Aether Core, its pulse growing weaker every day. I thought of the couples who vanished after the purification rituals. My throat tightened as realization bled through me. How could they? I couldn't finish the sentence. My voice trembled. And you knew. I tried to stop them, he said. They silenced me. And when I fought back, they branded me a traitor. But you, his voice broke. You stayed. The accusation stung even though I deserved it. I had stayed. I had believed the Empire's lies because it was easier than facing the pain of losing him. I thought you were gone, I whispered. I buried you in my heart because it hurt too much to hope. For a moment he said nothing. Then softly, and yet here you are, still following the light. Something inside me cracked. All the years of emptiness, of duty without purpose, collapsed into a single truth. I had never stopped loving him. I took a step closer. Then help me understand, Drake. Help me stop it. If the core feeds on love, maybe love can destroy it too. He stared at me for a long time. I could see the war in his eyes. Duty against desire, vengeance against forgiveness. Finally, he nodded once. Then we finish what we started. He reached out, his hand trembling slightly. When our fingers touched, the ether in the chamber responded. The air shimmered, filled with the hum of recognition, as if the magic itself remembered us. For the first time in years I felt alive. The machine before us glowed brighter, and in its reflection, I saw his smile, small, hesitant but real. In that moment I understood what he had meant all those years ago. Love wasn't just an emotion. It was a force. A pulse. The heartbeat of the world itself. The chamber fell silent after Drake's words. The rebels had melted into the shadows, leaving only the two of us standing beneath the broken crystals. I could still feel the faint hum of our joined hands, the memory of our magic awakening like something that had been sleeping for too long. We left the Underspire that night. The storms outside clawed at the sky as we climbed the stairways that wound back toward the surface. Lightning flared against the glass walls of the lower city, and in every flash I saw fragments of the past. His laughter in the old courtyard, the promise in his eyes, the warmth of his touch before the war tore it all away. Neither of us spoke for a long time. The silence between us was alive, thick with everything we could not say. I had rehearsed 1,000 apologies in my mind over the years, but standing beside him, none of them seemed enough. When we reached the outer balcony overlooking the Aether Core, I stopped and turned to him. Drake, I said quietly, if what you said is true, then every life in Halcyra depends on that machine. If we destroy it, he met my gaze steady and calm. If we do nothing, it will consume them all. It's already begun. The core is unstable because it's starving. There's not enough love left to feed it. His words hit deeper than I expected. I thought of the people above, the engineers, the scholars, the children playing in the sunlit towers, all unaware that their world floated on the stolen hearts of others. I whispered, then how do we stop it? He looked away for a moment, the stormlight flickering across his face. We bind again. I froze. You mean? Our connection once fueled the core when it was first built. If we merge our hearts again, we can override the Empire's design. We can release the energy instead of feeding it. My heart pounded in my chest. I understood what he wasn't saying. To merge again completely meant surrender. No body, no form. Only energy. Drake, I breathed. We would die. He smiled just slightly. Maybe. Or maybe we'd become something else. He stepped closer, until his breath brushed against my cheek. The air between us thrummed with the same quiet intensity one remembered from before. The way time seemed to pause whenever he looked at me like this. You once told me love was meant to create, he said softly. But love destroys too, doesn't it? It tears down what shouldn't exist. Tears stung my eyes. You're asking me to lose you again. He reached up, brushing his fingers against my jaw. No. I'm asking you to find me again. Where no one can ever take us apart. The world blurred. For a moment I was no longer the woman who served the Empire. I was the girl who stood beneath the stars with him, believing that our hearts could change the world. I leaned into his touch. His hand trembled and I realized he was afraid too. That was what made it beautiful. The courage to love even when it promised pain. I never stopped waiting for you, I whispered. His voice broke. And I never stopped coming back. The first tear slipped down my cheek. He caught it with his thumb and smiled faintly, as though it was something precious. Then it's settled, he said. We go to the core together. The elevator carried us upward, through the levels of the city where no one slept. The engines groaned around us, strained and unstable. Blue light leaked through the vents like veins beneath pale skin. I rested my hand on the glass, feeling the city tremble beneath my palm. Do you think they'll ever know? I asked quietly. What it cost to keep this place alive? Drake looked up toward the endless light above. Maybe they don't need to. Maybe it's enough that they live. He reached for my hand, his fingers intertwining with mine. The contact sent a rush of warmth through me, the kind that felt like home. For the first time in years, the ache inside my chest eased. When the elevator doors opened, the core towered before us. It was even more beautiful than I remembered. Vast and alive. Its light pulsing like the heart of a god. The sound of it filled the air. A deep, steady rhythm that matched our joined hands. We walked toward it together. Every step echoed like the ticking of a clock counting down. As we reached the center platform, the energy rippled in recognition. The core knew him. It knew me. The patterns carved into the floor glowed with the shapes of our magic, old and familiar. Drake turned to me. Are you ready? My throat tightened. I don't know if I'll ever be. He smiled, that soft, crooked smile that always undid me. Then we'll go together. He pressed his forehead to mine, and the world fell away. All I could feel was him, his breath, his heartbeat, his magic merging with mine like a river finding the sea. The light surrounded us, warm and blinding. Our memories poured into each other. The first time he kissed me under the violet sky. The nights we spent dreaming of peace, the pain of losing him, the years I spent trying to forget. Every memory became light. Every heartbeat became power. The core roared. Energy surged outward, wild and bright. I felt his hand tighten in mine as the world began to shake. His voice was in my mind, soft and clear. I'll find you in the light, Zara. And then everything turned white. There is a kind of silence that doesn't belong to this world. It is the silence after the storm, after the scream, after the last breath has been drawn and the universe itself forgets to move. That was the silence I woke into. Light swam above me, pale and trembling. The floor beneath my body was warm, pulsing faintly, like the inside of a living creature. My fingers brushed against smooth glass, slick with condensation. For a long time I could not remember my name, or where I was or what I had done. Then I felt it. A pulse. A heartbeat that was not my own, echoing softly within me. Drake. The memories returned slowly, fragile as feathers. The core. The light. His hand gripping mine until it vanished in the blaze. The promise. We'll go together. I sat up. The chamber around me was in ruins. The once blinding core now glowed with a gentle silver light. Its chains melted, its heartbeat steady. The storm outside the glass dome had passed. The city of Halcyra floated peacefully, its engines quiet for the first time in centuries. The air felt different, lighter, almost alive. The machines no longer hummed with hunger. They breathed. I stood, my body trembling. The reflections on the glass shifted as I moved, and that was when I saw it, my own image in the core's surface. My eyes glowed faintly blue, Lines of light traced my skin like veins of crystal. I was no longer just Zara. The core had changed me. He was in me. Not a ghost. Not a memory. Something deeper. When I closed my eyes, I could feel him. Not beside me, but within the pulse of everything. The warmth in the air, the rhythm of the machines, the quiet hum beneath the earth. All of it was him. All of it was us. A soft voice brushed through my thoughts. Zara. I turned instinctively, but there was no one there. Only light. Do you see it? He asked. They're free now. Tears welled in my eyes. Drake, where are you? Here. The word echoed softly like a sigh through the stars. I felt his presence move through me, through the walls, through the core that now beat like a living heart. It was the same rhythm I had always known, the same rhythm I had loved. I pressed my palm against the glass. The light answered. You kept your promise, I whispered. You found me in the light. The city began to wake above us. Bells chimed in the distance. The people would never know what happened here. That two hearts had burned themselves into the fabric of the world so theirs could keep beating. And maybe that was enough. The rebels who once hid in the underspire would rise again, guided by the new rhythm of the core. The empire would fall quietly, not through blood but through understanding. Ether would flow freely now, no longer stolen but shared. And I would remain. Not alive. Not dead. A guardian bound to the light that saved them all. Sometimes I walk the glass bridges when the city sleeps, and I feel the wind move through me like a whispered prayer. The stars above shimmer brighter, and in the quiet between heartbeats, I hear him still. Zara. Always. I close my eyes and let the light fill me. For a moment I can almost feel his hand in mine again, warm and real, the way it was before the war, before the loss, before everything turned to ash. And then just as softly it fades. But even when the silence returns, I know he's there. In every spark of the core, in every flicker of light, in every living breath this city takes. Our love was the fire that broke the machine. Our love was the heart that kept it beating. If love could power the stars, then let it burn forever. And perhaps that is what love truly is. Not a fleeting fire, but a light that endures when the world grows quiet. A force that survives even when the body fades, that lives on in memory, in promise, in every heartbeat that dares to hope again. If you felt their story stir something within you, let it remind you to hold on to the ones you love a little tighter, and to believe that even in loss, there can be beauty. Thank you for journeying with me through Zara and Drake's story. If their love found its way into yours, take a moment to like, subscribe, and share this story, so others may feel it too, and remember what it means to love without end.